Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that could literally rewire how you think about setting up the next generation for success. We're breaking down the $5 path to generational wealth. We so often think the absolute greatest gift we can give a child is luxury, maybe a fancy car when they're older, or the newest expensive phone. But what if the ultimate gift is actually financial freedom? Let's explore how surprisingly achievable that really is. Okay, let's dive into this. Just imagine for a second the day a baby is born. What if, instead of buying that one daily cup of premium coffee, you take that exact same $5 and invest it for your child? And I mean not just once, and not just randomly once a month, but every single day, right up until they turn 18 years old. Well, if you did that, here is the absolute jaw-dropping mathematical reality of what that tiny daily habit could become. Almost $90,000. No way, right? It sounds totally impossible, but it's just math. It proves that generational wealth isn't just locked away for the ultra-rich, it's completely accessible to ordinary people.
Part 1, a tale of two families. Let's look at two very different paths. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Imagine two sets of parents who love their kids equally, but make one tiny, divergent daily decision. On one side, we have family A. They spend an extra $5 every day on random things. An artisanal latte, fast food, maybe a forgotten app subscription they never even use. Things they won't even remember buying next week. But on the flip side, Family B takes that exact same $5 and invests it every single day into a low-cost index fund for their baby for 18 solid years.
Now, you've really got to notice what is missing from Family B's strategy. There's no gambling on individual hot meme stocks. There is no day trading. They aren't trying to start a complex business or taking on crazy financial risks. Their entire secret weapon? It's just patience and consistency. All right, part 2, doing the math. Let's break this down step by step. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How on earth does $5 turn into such a massive number? Let's demystify exactly how this scales up. When we break it down, it becomes incredibly manageable. Step 1, $5 a day. Step 2, that translates to only about $150 per month. And step 3, over a full year, it's roughly $1,825. When you view it through this practical lens, it's a highly achievable habit for a lot of families. So, if you stick to that yearly amount for 18 years, the total cash you actually put in, your principal, comes out to around $32,850. But wait, earlier I said they would have almost $90,000, right? So where does the rest of the money come from? That, my friends, is the absolute magic of compound interest.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how it clearly separates your effort from the market's effort. That first portion is your $32,000 of principal contributions, but that massive second portion, around $57,000, is pure compound growth. Historically, the broad U.S. stock market has averaged an annual return of around 10% over long periods. Because of that, the investment doesn't just sit there gathering dust. It grows exponentially.
Part 3, the starting line. Entering adulthood.
So boom, at 18 years old, there is nearly 90 grand sitting in that account. Most people think that's the final destination, right? The end of this childhood investment plan. But watch what happens as these two kids actually enter adulthood. Child A starts at 0. They work hard, they save, they struggle, spending years just trying to catch up financially. But look at Child B. They start adulthood with nearly $90,000. No immediate debt, no crippling student loans right out of the gate. Their money is already working for them, earning returns, and those returns are earning more returns. The gap between these two lives just widens every single year. I mean, just think about the incredible options this provides a young person. This $90,000 could help pay for college entirely, meaning they graduate totally debt-free. It could be the seed money to start a business, or the down payment to buy a first home way before their peers. Or they could simply continue investing it for an even bigger future. It completely alleviates that deep financial stress that plagues most young adults trying to find their footing. It's a real game changer.
Part 4, the slow reveal. Leaving it invested. But here is where the story gets even more incredible. Prepare yourselves, because we are about to look at an unbelievable twist in the math if that 18-year-old makes one very specific choice. What if they don't spend that money? Instead, they simply leave it invested. No extra deposits, no additional savings, just time. For this next phase of immense growth, that 18-year-old doesn't need to add a single penny of their own money. Let's move to and see how this builds across a timeline. Assuming that same historical average return of around 10%, by the time they hit age 30, that initial pot has grown to nearly $280,000. By age 40, it's over $700,000, and by age 50, that original investment, funded by just $5 a day during their childhood, could potentially grow to nearly $2 million. Time is doing all of the heavy lifting here, turning a simple childhood habit into multi-generational wealth. I actually want to pause here for a second just to let this really sink in. One small decision made by parents, $5 a day, could completely change the financial future of an entire family. Building wealth isn't always about one massive, lucky investment or winning the lottery. It is about the extraordinary, predictable results that come from thousands of small, consistent decisions over decades. What we just witnessed here is the textbook definition of compound interest. It's a financial force that rewards patience, consistency, and above all, starting early by allowing returns to earn their own returns. Remember our two children? The massive gap between them later in life isn't because one child is inherently smarter, and it's not even because one works harder. It is simply because one family understood this concept and started earlier. So the crucial point is this. Does this mean the stock market will always return exactly 10% every single year like clockwork? No, of course not. Some years the market goes down, some years it goes up, and literally no one can guarantee future returns. But as we see from the data, broad U.S. stock market investments have grown significantly over long periods despite those short-term performance variations. Long-term investing matters far more than trying to predict or fearing short-term drops.
Part 5. The biggest mistake parents make. The true cost of waiting.
Since time is clearly your biggest advantage here, we've got to address the elephant in the room, the sheer danger of waiting for the perfect time to start. Here are the excuses so many well-meaning families fall into. We'll start next year. We'll invest when we earn a little more. We'll do it right after paying off this one bill. But what happens? Years pass by. And while they wait for the perfect moment, the absolute greatest investment opportunity they possess, which is time, quietly disappears. And that brings us to this really powerful realization. You can always earn more money, but you can never buy back lost time. The amount you start with matters far less than simply establishing the habit of starting. You have to prioritize the habit because time is the one asset you can't hustle to get more of later in life. So here's my challenge to you. Whether you're already a parent, planning to become one, or actually, even if you're just looking at investing for your own future, the best day to start investing was years ago. But the second best day? That's today. Start today. Even if it is literally just $5, focus on building lasting wealth through consistency rather than chasing quick riches. The earlier you begin, the easier the math becomes. I'll leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on. Imagine your future child 20 years from now. Would they thank you for buying a slightly nicer car today? A bigger television? More expensive vacations? Or would they thank you for giving them a financial head start that most people never receive? Sometimes the greatest expression of love isn't what you buy for your children today, it's what you quietly build for their tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I truly hope this sparks an incredible journey for you and your family. Catch you next time.